So a very good morning from wherever you're joining us. My name is Marie Yambo. Coming up this morning on the news, terrorist strike in Fafi, leaving 6 police reservists dead as local leaders demand more security. The IEBC selection panel faces a busy week as interviews for the positions of chairperson and commissioners begin. Plus, Elfin Evans, crowned champion of the third leg of the WRC series as Harambee Stars' hopes of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup finals is dealt a blow. That's coming up later in sports. Stay with us for more. We begin with our first story, where the quest for new leadership at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, enters its crucial phase on Monday, that is today, as interviews for the positions of chairperson and commissioners begin. Commission Mensa now reports, the public interviews conducted by the selection panel will take place at the College of Insurance in Nairobi's South Sea Estates, with 11 candidates set to battle for the chairperson's position. The seat has remained vacant for over 2 years following the exit of the late Wafula Chebukati. More from Commission Mensa.
Just days after the IEBC selection panel issued the shortlisted candidates and their interview schedule, the first group of the candidates for the chairperson's position will appear before it on Monday. Among them are Abdul Kadir Lorot Ramadan, former Chief Registrar of the Judiciary Ann Atieno Amadi, former East African Court of Justice Judge Charles Ayako Nyachai, and Edward Katama Ngeyua. The sessions will run from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. On Tuesday, Erastus Edung Ethekon, Francis Kakai Kissinger, Jacob Ngwele Muvengei, and Joy Brenda Masinde Mdivo will take their turn before the panel. The final group of Lilian Wanjiku Manegene, Robert Akumu Asembo, and Saul Simiyu Wasilwa will face the interviewers on Wednesday. A total of 37 candidates had expressed interest in the IEBC chairperson position before the list was narrowed down to 11. Once this phase concludes, interviews for the 6 vacant IEBC commissioners' positions will commence from Thursday, March 27th and run until April 24th. A total of 105 candidates, including 32 women, have been shortlisted in this category. Since the Commission's term ended on January 17, 2023, Kenya has lacked a fully functional electoral body, leaving critical electoral processes in limbo. With the ongoing interviews, Kenyans remain hopeful that the appointment of the new IEBC officials will restore normalcy and ensure the Commission resumes its constitutional mandate.
At least 6 people were killed on Sunday morning following an Al-Shabaab attack on a National Police Reservist camp in Wiabado, that is in Fafi constituency of Garissa County. Police say 4 others were injured during the 5 a.m. incident. Police further say that multi-agency security operatives led by the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit are investigating the incident. Fafi Member of Parliament Farah Yakub is calling for the deployment of more security personnel to the area. Tilio Marco with more.
The residents of the Biamado area Fafi constituency of Garissa County are living in fear. Al-Shabaab militants on Sunday morning attacked a National Police Reservice camp in the area, shooting and stabbing people with assorted weapons. 6 people were left dead and 4 were injured.
The camp is isolated. It's an NPR camp and it's really isolated. The nearest GSU camp is around 15 kilometers from that area. The next is Agadera, which is around 25 kilometers. And that's why they took away, they target that village because it's in a corner.
The militants also ransacked the camp and escaped with an unknown number of weapons. Fafi Member of Parliament Farah Yakub says there are fears of more similar attacks happening in the area. He called for the deployment of more security personnel in the area to deal with the situation.
We want and we request more NPR. It's not Kenyan government forces that can help us this. It's us, the community, that can, if we arm the community in necessary way and guide them and control them, these people will be finished. So we request the government to give us around 300 NPRs minimum. 300 NPR so that we can eradicate these people from our area.
The area is near the porous Kenya-Somali border, which is usually breached by the Al-Shabaab militants.
Moving on, President William Ruto has justified his contributions towards church construction, stating that he has been actively involved in fundraising for churches since his early days as a member of parliament. Speaking to congregants at Africa Inland Church in Jericho, that is in Nairobi, the president emphasized that the efforts to build churches will continue alongside his focus on providing affordable housing for Kenyans. He also addressed the ongoing renovations to give State House a new look, describing it as part of his broader vision for a lasting legacy. Give us some minor reports.
Africa Inland Church in Jericho, Nairobi County, hosted President William Ruto for a Sunday service. The president using the platform to slam those opposed to publicizing church donations.
Let me tell you, tutamuaibisha shetani. Shetani hawezi kutuzuia kujenga nchi yetu ama kujenga makanisa zetu.
Whether we are leaders in the political arena or church leaders to be judges, we should leave the work of judgment to the Almighty God, because every individual who gives in church gives because they know why they are giving thanks to the God that they believe in.
President Ruto said his record as a builder of churches goes way back and he was not about to stop it.
I must declare that building is part of me. Nimejenga madarasa tangu niwe mjumbe.
His sentiment received a backing from AIC Bishop Joshua Kimuyu, who said only God should judge.
Giving can be either. Can either be public or private. I know we cling on the verse that says, let the left hand not know the right hand. But the question is, how did we know how much Solomon gave to dedicate the temple in Jerusalem? It was made public.
The head of state also says affordable housing projects, roads, classrooms and a new look state house, among other projects, is part of the desire for building.
Saizi tunajenga manyumba, nia yangu ni 1,500, manyumba 1,500. Hata kule state house mimi najenga. Na sehemu zingine nyingi mimi najenga. Na katika hiyo harakati ya kujenga, pia kanisa la Mungu tutajenga.
Meanwhile, the president, while defending the broad-based government, vowed to work with all leaders from the political divide and religion for the larger good of the country.
Serikali ya Kenya inatutosha sisi zote. Sio lazima mmoja akose ni mwingine apate. Sote tunaweza kupata. It is not that one must lose for one to gain. We can all be winners.
Sisi tunakusupport through broad-based government na tuko nyuma yako kabisa, na maombi pia. Najua na maadui wengi, lakini maombi yaraisha mambo yako.
Leaders in Baringo County have called for an end to banditry in the strife-torn region a day after a chief was killed in Chebela-Tiati constituency. Speaking during interdenominational prayers in Chemolingot, attended by Head of Public Service, Felix Koskei, the leaders urged for peace in areas prone to banditry.
Sunday morning at Michuki grounds in Chemolingot, Baringo County, several leaders, among them the head of public service, Felix Koskei, attended an interdenominational prayer service. The leaders condemned the killing of Area Chief Victor Sebei while on a mission to recover stolen goats. County legislators decried banditry, saying it had stalled development in the county.
The president alikuwa Chemolingot, walikuwa nasumbua hapa. Leo, juzi tu mkuu wa Head of Public Service alipokuja, unapata watu wameanza kuuliwa. Tulikuwa tumepata amani kwa siku chache. Na naomba kila mtu, kama unajua mtu wako na risasi nyumbani na bunduki, huyo sio mtu anachungia hiyo bunduki ya kupika ugali. Hiyo ni adui ya maendeleo.
Watu wa Tiati aliwachagua ili tuwasaidie. Mimi staki kila wakati tunalia ya kuwa watu wajasoma. Na wale wamesoma kazi yao ni nini? Pelekeni watu waende shule. Tuamushe kila mtu aende shule. Ile kitu naomba, hakuna mtu atatoka huko nje kukuja kuambia nyinyi mkae hivi. Charity begins at home.
Koskei emphasized the importance of peace in fostering development.
Lengo yetu ya hii serikali sana na rais ndio amesisitiza na amenituma na amekuja hapa mara mingi, anataka kuona ya kwamba tuko na amani Tiati, tuko na amani North Rift, ili tupate maendeleo kama sehemu zingine za nchi hii. Amani ndio itafungua kila kitu.
He stated that the government will not relent in the war against banditry.
Kasichana Masha reporting there. To Matters Health, where the death toll from the Kala-Azar disease outbreak in Wajir County has hit 20, with most victims being children under 5 years. The county is also grappling with fewer test kits as the main level 4 hospital is overrun with more admissions each day, causing the conversion of most wards into Kala-Azar management units. The number of those presenting with Kala-Azar disease in Wajir County is on the rise, with hardly any room for admission, forcing some patients to sleep under trees.
So far, we have 85 patients admitted at the Wajir County Referral Hospital. We have 18 who are pending to be investigated.
Amid a shortage of testing kits which have to be outsourced, Governor Ahmed Abdullahi is calling on the national government to quickly come to their aid.
The test kits actually are very specialized. You have to get them all the way from Netherlands. And then there's the curative aspect, which is actually spraying with some form of pesticide the area where these flies hide.
The Health County Executive Committee member Habiba Ali says 20 people have lost their lives so far, mostly children under 5.
Children have low immunity, so they cannot be able to fight any, invasive microorganism.
The most affected regions are Eldas and Wajir West, where the Wajir County government has started fumigation targeting over 10,000 households.
The indoor household spraying and fumigation is targeted both Wajir West and Eldas, not only Eldas. But the disease has risen recently after the long rain of December El Nino 2023.
Kala-Azar, also known as Vestral leishmaniasis, is a life-threatening disease caused by leishmania parasites transmitted by sandflies and characterized by fever, weight loss and enlargement of the spleen and liver, and is fatal if left untreated. A section of residents from Chelani, Donyo Sabuk areas in Matungulu sub-county, that is Machakos County, staged a protest yesterday voicing their frustration over what they perceived as neglect by the Machakos County government, claiming that no development had been undertaken in the area. The protest grew so intense that police officers from the Donyo Sabuk police station were forced to retreat to their station after being overwhelmed by the large crowd of angry demonstrators.
During the protest, the residents planted trees and vegetables along the roads, which have become impassable due to poor maintenance, especially during rainy periods.
Tangu tulipofanya uchaguzi, imekuwa tu ikielezewa ya kwamba tutajengewa barabara, tutawajengea barabara. Na kama vile mmeona tangu mahali tulipoanzia maandamano ni matope na ile black cotton soil, ambapo ukikwama pale inaweza ikakuchukua hata siku mzima.
Police officers from Donyo Sabuk police station, who had been dispatched to disperse the protesters, were forced to retreat to their station after being overwhelmed by the crowd. The protesters voiced concerns about dilapidated roads, lack of medicines in hospitals, no bursaries, and the feeling of neglect by the local government.
Kama bazari ilikuwa inapewa tu wale watu wanajiweza, wale ambao hawakujiweza hawakupewa bazari. Bengu ni vile vile tu ilipewa na hata ilikuwa inauzwa. na hatutaki hiyo. Gavana, kuja chini utuelezee vile itakuwa.
Tunasema barabara ni mbaya na itengenezwe. Hatuna mambo na kitu ingine. Ile ingine ni mahospitali. Tunaambiwa mahospitali iko na madawa na ukienda hapo unatuma kwa chemist.
Hivi ndio itakuwa sasa mtindo. Manake wanasema kazi, wanakuja wanapiga kura, lakini kazi haifanywi. Kule mbungeni tunapatiana pesa za kutengeneza barabara. Tukishapeana pesa, tunashinda tukizungushwa hapo, mheshimiwa, hakuna pesa za mafuta, hakuna pesa za mafuta, trakta ziko nini zimeharibika, lakini watu wangu wanashindwa, pesa zinakusanywa, kwa nini hatutengenezewi barabara?
They are now calling on Governor Wavinya Ndeti to address their concerns and bring development programs to the area, pointing out that she has been in office for over 2 years but has failed to deliver any tangible progress, leaving them to suffer despite paying taxes like other residents of Machakos County.
Sisi tunataka kujua maendeleo tutapata. Tulikuchagua, ulikuja huku katulilia, tukakupea kura, lakini hakuna kitu unatufanyia. Mawe zinakatwa huku, kaunti inapata pesa mingi kutoka huku na hatufaidiki.
The protesters pledged to continue holding regular demonstrations to remind the governor of their unmet needs.
The Ministry of Agriculture has flagged off 20,000 metric tons of fertilizer to be distributed to farmers across the country, while flagging off the consignment at the port of Mombasa. The Secretary of Administration in the State Department of Agriculture, Harun Kator, said the government is collaborating with the National Cereals and Produce Board to ensure farmers have timely access to essential inputs for the planting season.
Kwa hivyo mbolea iko na tunaomba wakulima wawe mstari ya mbele, watumie mbolea vizuri. Na vile vile wakiona walagai wowote ambao wanajihusisha, waeleze serikali ili tuchukue hatua kuhakikisha ya kwamba hatutakuwa na habari yoyote mbaya. Lazima taifa letu likuwe na chakula cha kutosha na pia tukuwe na chakula cha kuweza kutuma katika mataifa mengine.
And President William Ruto says the Kenyan government will build on the success of the 2025 WRC Safari Rally Kenya to make the 2026 event and other events to follow even better. President Ruto was speaking on Sunday afternoon at Hell's Gate in Naivasha just before the award ceremony that saw Elfyn Evans crowned champion of the third leg of the WRC series, the Safari Rally Kenya 2025.
Elfyn Evans survived the mud, the dust and the twists and turns of Safari Rally Kenya to emerge the 2025 champion, that being his second successive win of the 2025 season after winning Rally Sweden last month. The Toyota GR Yaris Rally 1 driver, co-driven by Scott Martin, beat Hyundai rival Ott Tanak and Thierry Neuville, who were second and third respectively. At Hell's Gate in Naivasha, Evans was handed his award by President William Ruto, who stressed the government's intent of keeping the Safari Rally Kenya on the WRC calendar.
As we look ahead, we invite all of you to join us once again for the 73rd edition of the WRC Safari Rally in 2026. We will continue to build on the success of this year, creating more opportunities for growth, for innovation and excitement for both participants and spectators.
In addition to keeping the Safari Rally Kenya, President Ruto also commended the FIS helmet program that he said plays a major role in promoting safety and talent development.
Safety, ladies and gentlemen, remains a top priority for us. I am proud to see the continued success of our helmet program, which is essential for the safety of both drivers and road users. The collaboration with the FIA Foundation and AA Kenya is promoting safe mobility is crucial, and we are grateful for their continued support.
Evans, who is in love with the Safari Rally Kenya, said he would love to be back in 2026 despite the event being a year away.
I don't know, I haven't thought of ahead that far, to be honest. It's one season at a time for me, so yeah, I haven't thought that far, but of course it's such an iconic event, it definitely should be on the calendar.
Things did not go so well for last year's champion Kale Rovanpera, who bowed out of the event on the last day due to electrical problems. Ian Duncan, who finished 15th overall, was the best placed Kenyan, having won the KNRC. After Safari Rally Kenya, the WRC series heads to Spain for the Rally Islas Canarias on the 24th to 27th of April, then Rally Portugal on the 15th to 18th of May. The season ends with Rally Saudi Arabia on the 27th to 30th of November.
And Harambee Stars' hopes of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup finals has taken a hit after a 2-1 loss to Gabon in a match played at the Nyayo National Stadium yesterday. Gabon captain Pierre-Emerick Emiliano Francois Aubameyang, who played as a striker for Saudi Pro League Al Qadsiya, scored both goals in the 16th and the 52nd minutes. Harambee Stars, who netted the consolation goal through Michael Olunga in the 62nd minute, will return to action in the qualifiers in September when they host Gambia for the reverse fixture on the 1st of September. They will then face Seychelles in Nairobi on the 8th of September. The winners of each group will qualify directly for the World Cup, while the 4 best runners-up will compete in playoffs to determine which teams will advance to the Inter-Confederation playoffs.
And it's 2 for Gabon. Rolled past Otieno. Nice flick. Uma gets away. Uma's crossed Olunga. Well, if it was going to be someone, then it was going to be him. Michael Olunga with what could be a massive goal for Kenya. They're back in the game. You wouldn't imagine for too much longer. It goes no further at the Nyayo National Stadium. Gabon take a huge step towards qualifying.
And that's where we bring the news to a close this morning. Thank you so much for your time and for your company and for taking the time to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya. Good Morning Kenya still continues. My colleague Victor Lo will be up next with Eye on Politics. But before that, let's take a look at the weather forecast.